And folks are joining us. Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. We'll wait for a few minutes for people to join us, and then we'll start our actionable workshop. Finally, workshop, not a webinar, not a podcast, like real workshop where you can talk to real people, when you can share your thoughts, when you can ask questions, when you can be like an active participant. And that's exactly what the idea behind. And today, we will do we will understand how to make your LinkedIn profile better. And we have an amazing expert, Vanessa Raath, with us. She's already been there. She's already gave us a webinar about how to get fired as a freelancer. How to get fired, how to
I was
get
about to say,
hired.
no, I definitely
And
didn't do that webinar.
yeah, but yeah, it's crazy. But I feel like, sometimes it's good to understand how you might get fired as a freelancer. So not to do those mistakes. I
Yeah,
feel like
not to do it.
it's the idea for another webinar, but for today, you've done how to get hired as a freelancer. And also we dived deeper into your experience during Freelance Thrive and Freelance Sucks podcast conversation. And today here we are for a practical workshop about improving your LinkedIn to bring attention of potential clients. And before handing it over to you, Vanessa, I'll tell a little bit about the structure of today's workshop. So first, I'll quickly explain what's 9am.works and what we do. Then we'll have an interactive workshop where you can share your profile to get advice from Vanessa and ask any questions about it. And we intentionally didn't choose profiles to check prior to the workshop to ensure that today's participants get the most value. So give me 1 second. I will share my screen and we'll start doing this. So here we are. So 9am.work is a freelance operating system, and it's basically all. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm doing this for the first time, even though it's not for the first time. Anyway, so 9am.works is a freelancing operation system and is basically an all-in-one tool you need as a freelancer. So whether you're just starting or growing your freelancing career, 9am will assist you in getting new clients, arranging projects, receiving payments, and handling your finances. It's totally free for freelancers, so sign up, try it, and if you have any feedback, share your thoughts with us right away, as we are craving for ways to improve. And yeah, join 9am community, because it's our inner idea to not just build a tool, but ensure that you are having a great freelancing journey to help you as much as possible, because we are freelancers ourselves and we are doing it for freelancers. And yes, we want to thrive. Go freelance world. And just like that, Vanessa, given all power to you, and let's start. Let's do it.
Perfect. Well, listen, first of all, thanks for having me back. It's always good to be invited back to do a show. It doesn't always happen. And I know that we chatted after our last session together, and you said it would be really great if we just did a session focusing around, LinkedIn profiles. So just a little bit of a history about myself before we get started. I'm actually based in South Africa. We have recently moved, and it's been a bit of a shock to the system with moving. I had a knee operation, and now we are trying to settle in our new town. So it's all good so far. We're thoroughly enjoying it. What I do is I'm a global talent sourcing trainer. So I spend a lot of time training recruiters and talent sources how to find talent better, which is why I'm well positioned to help all of you as freelancers to be found. So I'm also a freelancer. I've worked for myself for 5 years. I've done lots of freelance contracts, assignments, whatever you want to call them, gigs. And I'm here to show you how your LinkedIn profile, if we just optimize it a bit, how it can really assist you to be discovered by recruiters out there. So before we get started, I actually want to put a disclaimer out there, Yuri. So can I do that?
Sure, exactly.
So yes, you need to have a really good LinkedIn profile. That's really important. But remember that a lot of people are going to Google you. So they're going to take your name, a lot of recruiters, they're going to put it into, your speech marks, quotation marks, inverted commas, whatever you want to call them. And they are going to, so if I was looking for Yuri, that's what I would be doing. And I want to see where he pops up on the internet. So a lot of people just assume we're going to look at their LinkedIn profile, but we're going to look at their LinkedIn profile and their Facebook and their Instagram. We're going to see, where else are they mentioned? Is it somewhere on their university site? Is it somewhere where they work? Are they on the Meet the Team page? Have they spoken at a conference? Are they in a community? Because I want to find out everything. So I will find out, for example, Yuri over there, and I'm going to know that he's originally from Ukraine, and I'm going to find out what are his hobbies, where's he living now, what kind of pictures does he post on Instagram, because I want to know as much as possible about him before I actually reach out to him. So yes, LinkedIn needs to be great, it needs to be polished, it needs to be looking good, but even your Facebook, your X, your Instagram, for those techies out there, your GitHub, your Stack Overflow, your Dev, your Kaggle, what do they look like? Because a good recruiter will do solid homework on you. So let's start with your LinkedIn profile. I am keeping an eye on the chat, so if there's any questions that are coming through, you're welcome to. And Yuri, back to you. How should we get this started?
As we agreed, so to make most value out of this workshop, please start sharing your LinkedIn profiles. If you really want to hear about that, share your LinkedIn profile on the website, share in comments. We will go one by one to ensure that if you are here, you're receiving the most value, first of all, and secondly, people also can learn from you because, even though everyone has different profiles, LinkedIn is just one platform, and basically most advice are the same. So we will go one by one. We basically have like 50 minutes on this webinar. So we will go just one by one. And yeah, if you have any questions, post them in chat. And we'll see. We'll get where we get. We'll do as much profiles as possible. And if you will still have questions, I bet you can connect with Vanessa on LinkedIn and learn from her experience. And yeah, so let's just do it. So the first profile is by
Before we
David
get
Lelit.
started with looking at individual profiles, I want to go through my profile because there's a couple of things that everyone can do to get better. Okay. So my profile, LinkedIn, is very easy. I'm actually just going to copy it. I'm going to put it into the chat in case, as you said, there's questions afterwards and you want to connect with me. So the first thing that I want to encourage you to do is if I have a look at a lot of the links that are coming through, some of the links look like they haven't been edited. There's a couple of dashes, there's a couple of numbers. And the reason why you want to actually go and edit it, like it says in the top right-hand corner here, is you want to put your name and surname. And the reason why you want to do that is because when people go and run a search on you, let me show you with my name as an example, and they put in my name, you will see my website comes up first, which makes sense, and then my LinkedIn comes up, okay? So you want to rank high. So someone says, we used a fantastic freelancer called Yuri Lazaruk, then they're going to go and put your name in, and then that's how they're going to find you. So that is what you need to do. It will open up a separate page, click on the pencil, write your name and surname, leave it at that, and then people will be able to find you. This is a very important page though. So what I want to encourage you to do is to put your profile's visibility on, because as a freelancer, you want to get hired, right? So let's make sure that people can find you, because they cannot hire you and offer you jobs if you haven't got your public profile on. So you want to make sure that everyone can see, your information, and I just make it all public because for me, I'm a freelancer. I want people to be able to contact me and ask me to train their teams. So I keep it all public, and I also choose what do I want to show on my profile. So this is a really, really handy page. I suggest you actually go and spend some time there. How I got there was looking at my profile. Let me just move that. Went to look to my profile. I went to public profile and URL, and I went to edit it. Okay, so a few more things over here that we need to look at. First of all, cover photo, profile picture. Need to be professional. I use Canva to design my cover photo. Canva is really great. I'm going to put that into the chats, the word Canva. Really good. I'm sure you're all familiar with Canva. You can do your cover photos, all of those things. Profile picture, really good head and shoulder shot, nice and clear. Now, this part is really important. And during COVID, LinkedIn actually extended the length. It was about 240 characters that you had, and they extended it to about 340. So you'll see that I even put in my email address there. And the reason is that people are not always on LinkedIn that often. So they know that people generally will answer their emails first. So I put my email address there. So in case they want to actually send me an email, as opposed to connecting with me on LinkedIn, sending me an email, they've got it right there. Make it easy. And also you need one catchy sentence to get people's attention. So mine, I'm a global talent sourcing trainer, but I don't write that down. I help recruiters and talent sources to find the best talent more effectively and efficiently than their competitors. So you need to tell people this is the problem that you can solve. Now, I have something called creator mode that has been activated. So with that, you can see here my resources, the creator mode is on. If you're posting a lot, and when I say a lot, I'm talking 3 times a week. If you're posting a lot, put your creator mode on. It does help to grow your network. What it does mean is that some of you who went to try and connect with me at the beginning of this webinar could only follow me, and that's because I have creator mode on. So I can then go and pick through all of the people who followed me and connect with people who I would like to. It also helps to boost your posts, encourages you to use hashtags more. There's a whole lot of things. Also, what a lot of people don't realize is that you should have your contact info there as much as possible, because again, you want to be found. So go and check it, has your email there, is your phone number there? What are your links to websites or portfolios that you have? So if you're a freelancer with a portfolio on Behance, is it there? Okay, that's really important. Also, there's a link. So mine says sign up for free training. So when you click on the link, it takes you straight to my academy where you can go and sign up for talent sourcing training. Okay. Everyone still with me? You can all still see my screen. We're good. Okay. Not too many questions in the chat from everyone. Okay. Good, good. So remember to fill in things like providing your services. So I've got my training over here that I offer. So make sure it's there. So it's in front of people so they can see your services. You might want to, if you are open to your next contract or whatever, add in that open to work kind of circle around your name there. It's important. Okay, so featured is quite a nice function. So what it does is it allows you to pin your most popular LinkedIn posts. So you can see the ones that I've got that I've put in there, just the posts that did really well. It can be linked to a podcast or something that I recorded, just things that you really want to stand out for people. Now, another thing that is important over here is your analytics. So if you go to show all posts that you've done, you can see, look at the comments, you can look at the videos, images, articles, events. So if you're looking for something you've posted previously, this is a good place to look. But if you're looking for your analytics, how I do that is I go to the homepage, the news feed. So you can get there very quickly by just clicking on the LinkedIn symbol, and that takes you to your homepage. And I monitor these 2 numbers really, really carefully over here. Okay, so what I do is I have profile viewers. So these are the people who have viewed my profiles, and your post impressions that are really good. So if I click on post impressions, you'll see that I can now get a little bit of analysis of which posts are performing well. So this is part of the creator toolkit, but it's really good. So I can say in the last 90 days, the last 3 months of me posting, which posts have actually done really well. And I always go and refer to this because I want to see, okay, what do I want to do more of? What has performed better than others? So it's always good to do an analysis on your posts. I try and do it, every couple of days just to see how well it is going down. Okay. Right. Now, back to my profile. Let's go there. So chat if you've got any questions. So that posting is actually really, really important. And you can look at the different analysis of your posts. So on the about section, Also really important here, and I actually just did this. I was helping someone with their profile yesterday. I took what they had written there and I said, take this, I put into Chat GPT. I can actually probably show you the chat. And here it is. I put in what was already there and I said, rewrite this into Chat GPT, rewrite this in the first person and make it sound more appealing to prospective employers and recruiters. And I put in what was there and it was rewritten for me. I also said, put it in the first person. So if you want to just update, refresh, take whatever you've got there and you can run it through ChatGPT. Very easy. Just remember to read through what you've written. Here it also allows you to add in your top skills now, which is also great to be found because remember, recruiters search for you using keywords, and the more keywords you have, the more likely you can be found. Just a big thing here is don't actually, on the about section, don't just repeat what's further down here, okay? Because people are going to read what your experience is anyway. So just tell a little bit of a story, you know, also get something that's going to stand out. So I say, first things first, sign up for some free training because I want to drive people to my academy. So where do you want to drive people? Is it your creative profile? Is it another project that you can show online? Think about where you want to send people. Then it goes into your experience, education, fill it in, not just your university degree, any short course you've done, Coursera, LinkedIn Learning, whatever it is. Again, the keywords help you to be found and it shows that you're a lifelong student. And that's what we have to do as freelancers, don't we? We have to keep on doing courses. We need to keep on getting better at our knowledge around certain topics. Also, your licenses and certifications, also just as important. Projects you can show there, your volunteering. I mean, no one's going to not connect with you because of your volunteering, where you're volunteering. And skills are good, and also endorsements. So try and get as many of these as possible. Now, one thing that I put a lot of emphasis on is your recommendations. So you can see I've got over 550. So like today, I got a message from someone who works in the UK who introduced me to someone who works in Ireland for my talent sourcing training. And I could email back and I could say, please check out my recommendations on my LinkedIn profile and you can see what people say about my training. So straight away, I'm not trying to sell my skills as a freelancer by saying, trust me, I'm really good. I have 550 recommendations, which people can see that people can see that it works. How do you get them, guys? How do you get anything in life? You got to ask. You can't just expect people to give it to you. So literally ask people. Some will, some won't. Not everyone does. Publications, also important there. Honors and awards and interests. So the more you can fill out in your profile, the better. So you have a lot of information you can put into your LinkedIn profile. Use that space. So let's just quickly have a look over here. I've got a couple of questions and then I'm going to go to people's profiles. So do I use the LinkedIn standard subscription? Yes, of course I do, because I come from South Africa. We're a third world country. Our currency is shocking. I don't see the point of paying for LinkedIn. I mean, I recruit all over the world. I source all over the world. If you can learn how to write Boolean and search from a search engine, I don't believe you need to pay for it. It doesn't hide out the profiles like it's been doing. Yes, there are some changes, but I'm already working on a workaround, around the X-ray. And I just don't feel like you need to. I don't feel like it's that helpful. I mean, my profile's great. I get found. I get most of my work through people asking me on LinkedIn, so no need. Next one, how important are the keywords in the profile title to be found by recruiters? So Martin, this is part of the changes. So what's happening now is when recruiters do an X-ray search from a search engine, it's actually not highlighting words that are in your heading unless this recruiters search in a particular way. So as many keywords as you can get in this little bio that they give you, the better. So if I have a look at mine, what I'm looking at it now as I'm doing this training, I need to fit in the word globally. So I help recruiters and trainers, recruiters and talent sources, and I need to add in here, if I have space, all over the world, there we go, to find the best talent. Okay, let's see if that works. So now what I've done is I've shown that I actually train teams all over the world. And this is what you should be doing. You should be going through with fresh eyes. It's now January. I've had leave. I'm looking at my profile for the first time. I'll be honest, it's been a busy start to the year. And I'm thinking, I could explain that better. And you need to keep reading as things change and your value offering changes and all of those things. So keywords are important. Put as many as you can in your profile title, I would say. Okay, Patrick's question. Alongside my LinkedIn profile, I have a separate page dedicated to showcasing my projects. Brilliant. I opted for the separation because in addition to my freelance projects, I'm currently developing a SaaS school, which will plans to launch, and I'm currently having an additional. Okay, I think that that's really good. It's almost like having a business page. Let's open it up. It's almost like having a business page linked to your profile. So this over here is a page, which is great. Okay, so it's a company profile. You just need to make sure that somewhere in your about section, so over here you can say, there's my about section, where I've maybe highlighted this, to see some evidence of the projects I've worked on or some of the work that I've done, please check out my company page. So it's all about driving the traffic where you want people to see it. Okay, that's really important. But this is good. This is fine. There's nothing with this. I'm going to come back to that question now, and you can do different posts and you can put up videos. I would actually duplicate them. So if you've got videos over here, I would actually put them on your own personal LinkedIn profile, Patrick, as well, and put them in the featured section. It doesn't matter that there's duplication. Okay, as long as people see them somewhere. Suzanne, your question? Good. What are your thoughts on the LinkedIn learning courses? They're good. I mean, you can put them on your profile. If you've completed any courses via LinkedIn Learning, by all means, list them on your profile. It helps for the keywords too. That's really a good idea. So do them, especially if you've got like that thing where you can sign up for a month and do as many courses as possible. It's good to show that you're keeping things up to date. Sure, the questions are flying in and I haven't even got to profiles. What's more important, profiles or questions? I think you've got a good idea about the profiles.
Yeah, Vanessa, let's go to profiles, because I feel like, you will answer some of those questions while going through profiles. Because I feel like we can do this forever, and I understand that people have a lot of questions, but let's go to the profiles.
Okay. So let's do 2 profiles and I'll come back to the questions. So I'm just going to choose some random ones over here. Okay. So let's open them up over here. So Chikihiro. So software engineer, OSS developer, sometimes speaker. Okay. Instead of saying sometimes speaker, I would say occasional speaker, because sometimes is not as strong as occasional speaker. What you could also do is you could just be bold out there and just say conference speaker, because if that's what you want to do more of, you also want to promote that. Also, instead of doing the commas in between your name there, I would actually do the type symbol. And I would also, if you're a software engineer, I would fill up that bio with all of your coding languages. Because remember, people are searching for keywords. So if you've got C# or SQL or Kotlin or Java, whatever it is, put it in there. Okay, that's a good thing. So you've got a link to your website, which is great. You're in Berlin. Now, if I'm a recruiter looking for you, how do I send you an email? So this is a problem. So what you need to do is you need to go and edit your contact info, and you need to put in an email address, because me as the recruiter, I don't know how to get hold of you. Even a phone number would help. So, you've got to kind of decide what you want to do. You've also got another website here, and you've got a different one in your profile. So I would go and look at both, but we don't want to cause confusion. So just think about that. Also, there's nothing listed here that I can see of where you work. So you've got to go back to that other page, and where you could switch on and highlight, what do you want people to be able to see? What is switched on and what's switched off? Because for me, as a freelancer who's looking to become employed, you are not sharing enough with me to be able to get hold of you. Okay, right. So I can see your posts. There's no about section, and there's no featured section. So again, you need to go back to that original page where it said edit your profile or your URL, and you need to activate those, put them on, switch them off so that you can go and have those on your profile because they're there. Also, what I would do is I would think about your followers. You got 460. Once you get over 500, LinkedIn will just say 500 plus connections, and that looks better. It looks better to have a good network. This is a bit small. You want to try and push to get a little bit higher. So you've got good kind of feedback on your posts. This one got 36, this one got 8. So what you've got to think about is which kind of posts perform better. What sort of posts should you be doing more of? Because your posting is what helps you to stand out. Okay, so I've got all of your work experience over here. That's great. You've populated it with a lot of information. That's going to be keyword heavy. You can always link this to the university, so you actually have an image from the university where you studied, which looks better. Also where you volunteered. I like your license and certifications. That's really good. And your skills, you've got 25. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you can have up to 50 skills. So let's just quickly have a look. Okay. Hold on, let me just go back to my profile. I just want to check. So just remember, the more skills you have, show all 50 skills. The more skills you have, the more keywords that are added in, the more search results you're going to come up with. Especially when people are using things like LinkedIn Recruiter, it's very much based on the skills. And you need to ask for a couple of recommendations. Okay. So I hope that helped you, Chikahiro. Is that good? Is that good? Did that help you? Okay, let's do one more, then we can go and answer some questions. Let me go back up to them. Okay, perfect. So we're going to choose a random one. Okay, let's do Andrew. So Andrew, you need to go and edit your LinkedIn profile because the URL. Cool. So you're a second connection. You're telling me you're open to work. I'd love to see a cover photo there. Now, if I'm the recruiter that's looking for a software development person, again, I don't know how to get hold of you. Okay. So now we got to think about, what can we put in there? Email address, put in a secondary email address. It could even just be, Andre recruit me at gmail.com or Andre work, at just complete, you can set up a completely separate Gmail address if you want. Software development consultants doesn't really tell me anything. I want to know, like, what are your, what are your coding languages? What do you code in? All of those things are important. Let's try and get some more keywords into that bio. So your experience, you've got experienced software development consultant with a history of leading teams and projects, hands-on experience. Okay, that's great. I would like to see another key skills and for you to list again, what are your frameworks? What are your back-end coding languages? What are your front-end coding languages? If you're in the project side of tech, do you work in Agile, Waterfall? Get those all in there, okay? And again, it's about getting active because you haven't posted anything in a while. So if you want to be noticed, you've got to make a noise. Another thing is I'd look at your profile over here and I'd say, okay, you're a freelancer, but you finished last year, December. So does that mean that you're immediately available? Where do we sit with that? Has the contract ended? So I can see here your skills popping up. Now, Kotlin is really in demand. So what I would have done up here is a software development consultant. I would have actually changed that and said Kotlin developer, or whatever you want to add in, Spring, Postgres, Docker. I mean, you've got some great languages there. Put them in your bio, put them in your about section, like make it very clear for recruiters. Remember, recruiters aren't technical. So they are matching words on a job description that's been handed to them with what they're seeing on people's profiles. So the clearer that you have it, the more that you have it in front of them, the better. So I can see there that you've got great skills, but are they really smacking me in the face? So you've got your BSc and your MSc, that's really good. Schooling also works well because people might want to, find you through school. You've got skills over here, which is great. Remember, push it to the full 50. and interest companies. You haven't got any groups. So me looking at your profile, Andre, means that it shows that you're not really that active. You don't spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. You haven't taken the time to populate it. So what I would probably do is I would probably try and find you on GitHub. I want to look at your repositories, how much code is up there. I'd look at you across other platforms, because I can see this isn't where you're very busy. You don't hang out here. You don't spend a lot of time here. So I can't even get hold of you through here. So you've got to think, as a freelancer, surely you want people to get hold of you. And I'm sure that there's a lot of recruiters who, a lot of people who are maybe don't recruit that well. They're going to bug you. They're going to do, not reach out in a polite way. I get that, especially if you're working on a project. But at the end of the day, you need them to find your next gig a lot of the time. 2 followed people in Berlin, same as me. Okay, good. Okay, so let's go back to the questions quickly. Okay, Pedro asked, in my experiences, I have a startup that no longer exists, so it doesn't appear a logo next to my experience. That's fine, as long as it's there. Okay, if it doesn't exist, for you to put a logo next to the company, it doesn't mean that the company exists or not. They need to have a LinkedIn page. So if they've got a LinkedIn page, you can connect with the university, with the company, something along those lines. Personal projects I've done, does this lower the value of my profile? No, not at all. It's good to show that you were self-employed. You were working for yourself. You were working on a personal project. Put it on your profile. Absolutely. Okay. Iliam says, how can I attract global employees if I'm living in the Middle East? Okay, let me just stop sharing for a second here. How do I attract if I'm in the Middle East? The same way. So I am based in South Africa, as I mentioned, and I train teams all over the world. And the reason that I do that is because I stand out online. So I want to train recruiters. So it makes sense for me to have a good profile on LinkedIn, to stand out, to be posting a lot of content, because there's a lot of recruiters on LinkedIn. But if you want to stand out in your preferred field, you maybe need to have, if you're in the creative space, a really good profile on Behance or Dribble or ArtStation. Think about, where do people hang out who use your skills? So it's all about also growing your reach. So you're living in the Middle East, but are you connected with recruiters who specialize in your space? So my advice is, if you're in the supply chain space, connect with recruiters who specialize in supply chain. If you're in the finance space, connect with finance recruiters, but connect with them all over the world. That will help. You got 2 years experience, awesome projects. All you need is an employer who will take a chance on me. Absolutely. So say that. Does it say that you've listed your projects in your about section, you've got great experience, and you're looking for an international opportunity? You've got to tell people. Okay, what's my top 3 framework or templates to write down post, if you have any? I don't actually use templates or posts. All of my posts are organic. They're things that I think about. But what I have figured out is, if I can get a picture with my face in it, I get the highest number of interactions. It's bizarre. I mean, really. If it's me in the photograph doing something, that post always performs better, which is not always easy, but it is true. It does work. Okay. Okay, more questions. I'm just trying to find them. Yuri, any questions from your side?
I can always ask, but I can see there are still questions on the chat.
Okay, why bother so much with posting if my goal is to get found via recruiters searching for keywords? Because you want to be found via the keywords, and then you want recruiters to be able to see that you're active. Because if you're not that active on here, they'll think, oh yeah, I found them, but they're not posting, they're not active on here. It's pointless sending them an email. So you're also posting to get recruiters' attention. So recruiters wake up and spend every waking hour on LinkedIn. So the more that you post, the more you're going to stand out. So they're going to work with the clients, and the client says, I'm looking for a software development consultant with Kotlin. And they're going to be like, oh, I saw Andre post this morning. Let me get in touch with him. It just reminded me that he's on this planet and he's alive. I'm going to contact him and I'm going to ask him if he's interested in the role. It's all about staying top of mind, tip of tongue, those kind of things. I do this all the time to fish recruiters. Cool. Great. Good. I'm from Pakistan, looking for remote administrative roles worldwide. How can I do so? It's all about how you position yourself. And I don't agree with what someone else said is changing your location, because that's dishonest on LinkedIn. But you can say that you do work remotely. You've got clients all over the place. Like I just updated my bio quickly, shows that I live in South Africa, but I work all over the world. I think it's telling people that if you're in Pakistan, these are the countries that you work with. And that's why you have the About section. You can list that under your current company. There's lots of different ways to do it. Are there a difference on how recruiters search for perm versus freelance? No, they'll search the same, but if they're looking for a freelancer, they want to look and for words on your profile like freelance, gig, contract, temp. So make sure those words appear on your profile because that's what they are looking for. More profiles. Okay, I'm going to come to that one. What's your view on the market situation, demand, supply of IT freelancers? I have a feeling that last year or so, the rates and demand really dropped. I think the demand is there, but what's happened in the world is that with everything that's been going on, wars, Israel, Ukraine, all of those things, is that employers seem to be holding all the cards again. So employers can say to people, we want these people, this is what we're going to pay. And they kind of dictating what is happening at the moment in the IT space, which makes it more difficult. It really does. Because before, they would be like, I need a Kotlin developer. Everyone else was working. They were in demand. And Kotlin developers were getting paid a ridiculous amount of money. But now the power has shifted. Employers have the power. Everything's kind of slowed down a bit. It's a big election year. I think we've got about 15 major countries having elections this year. Everyone's in a bit of a waiting pattern. Does it work if I repost content from others? Pedro, it does, but it doesn't work as well as if they're your own posts. LinkedIn's algorithm doesn't recognize that as being as powerful as your own posts, okay? So you have to think about something to write your own posts. So my trick with that is that always have a piece of paper on pen on your desk, write down ideas, and when it comes to posting, you can have all of those ideas ready and you can just write out a post.
Vanessa, I have a follow-up question on that. Sometimes I saw that people, what are they doing? So if you are going to people posts, you always see like amount of likes, amount of reactions, and some people go and find like posts with huge amount of reactions and they repost just those posts on their pages. And sometimes if you can go there, you can see their posts and use like enormous amounts of likes, enormous amounts of reactions, and you see, oh my God, this person is really, really great. But then you see like repost, 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 repost. So does it work in that way as they think it work?
Yeah, because I think that what people do is that they look and they see what is their own content and what has been reposted. And there's a massive difference, and also LinkedIn will, if you're reposting other people's content all the time, it doesn't prioritize those posts. If it's organic and it's getting a lot of its own traction, then it's a good post. So I'm just going to have a look over here at Martin's post. Martin, for me, if I look at your post, what stands out for me is that you're a UX product designer, but look at your background. Like, I don't get it. You're a designer. What's going on here? Okay. So just remember that is, you need to portray kind of what you do. Also, if I'm an outsider and I have a look at your contact info over here, it's great to know when your birthday is, but how do I get in touch with you for your next project? Okay, so add your contact details in there. That's really important. So you've got your services over here. You've also got, a little bit of a bio, 16 years experience in user-centered design. But if you've got any tech skills on there that are in demand, Adobe user or something like that, add those in too. So Martin, as you just followed me over here, that's your highlights. We need a few more there. This is also quite short. So I like that you've got your top skills here, but also just in your about section, say, I'm passionate about UX design, interaction design. Here's a link to some of the websites that I've posted, those kind of things. So if you look at your posts, you need to aim for more comments. So a big thing is that if someone does comment, you can go and comment on their comment. So it doesn't matter whose comments they are. The posts on LinkedIn, the more comments, the better they perform, the more people will see that because LinkedIn actually pushes that post into other people's news feeds. So even if you are commenting on what people say, that's great. So here I see that you were on the UX Heroes podcast. Now that's great. If that could be on some kind of a featured section on your LinkedIn profile, that's even better because then it stays on top and people can see that. So those are the kind of things that you need to be posting. So I see here that you're working for, your own company, but you could list your own company. Like, for example, mine, this is my own company. Over here, there we go, my own company. All you've got to do is to open up a LinkedIn page. So instead of saying that you're a freelancer, more that you are, working for yourself. Let me just hide these so I can get back to your profile. And you can say freelancer, and then you can put your company up there. Okay, so you also got other businesses, you got all of your information. This is the pretty standard stuff. Your education, maybe add in, schooling. Skills are good. We got space for a few more. You got nice endorsements, and you have got quite a few nice recommendations. You just need to ask for a few more, and your languages. So I don't see the volunteer work. I don't see any projects that you've worked on. You need to go back to that original page and maybe activate those so they appear on your profile and you can populate them. Okay, Iliam said, how many times a week should I post to get the attention of employers? I aim for 3 times a week. So I normally try and post on a Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday. And pleasure, Martin. And then it kind of gives people a bit of a break. It also gives me time to interact. So one of the things I really want to point out here is if you have a look over here, look at all of the comments on my posts. So for example, if I look at this post, and I always try and keep track of my last 3 posts, what I'll always do is I'll go here and I'll say most recent. And on most recent, what I'll notice here is that I saw 1 day ago, someone actually went and said, wishing you a fantastic 2024. And I should respond to this and I'll say, same to you, put in the person's name, Juanita Goodwin, and then I know that I'm going to be in Cape Town in March. I can say, see you in March. So what I've done now is I have added another comment. So the comments carry a lot of weight. So what you'll notice on a lot of the posts is in a week after you've posted it, it actually performs quite well. So what LinkedIn does is it lets the post work, for a week. And then what it does is it will put it on people's news feeds again a week later. So me going to go and post and comment for the next week, that since I did the post, actually has a really big impact. So let's have a look at Stuart's position over here. Okay, so here we've got Stuart, lots of good information, very nice with the emojis, really eye-catching. In Wimbledon, I would be a little bit concerned about the number of connections, to be honest, Stuart. Try and get that to over 500, because as you say, once you go over the 500, it just goes 500 plus connections. Contact info, good. You see, I can straight away now, I want to bring him on board, bring Stuart on board, and I've got a great contract. I can send him an email. Phone number would also help. There we go, half Dutch, half English. Master's degree, there we go. I've got all of your information. This over here, because you go into quite a lot of detail about your work that you do, and it's great because I'm liking all of the keywords and everything. Maybe that should go under, where you have worked. Okay, Stuart, so you could maybe add that in there if it's not there already. And here we want to see things like this is interesting. Half Dutch, half English. Master's degree, excellent term, the crocodile. I love how data can bring huge business value, etc., etc. It shows us who you are. So straight away I read that, that's great. Okay, I want to know more. When did you nearly swim with a crocodile? Why did that happen? How did that happen? So straight away I'm interested. I see there's a person behind the profile. There's humor coming through. So that's really important. So I like that. Nice profile, nice beginning. You've got your top skills there. Python, okay, good. I'm glad they stipulate Python there. That's not, like swimming with crocodiles, swimming with Python. It's a programming skill. Not a lot of posting, okay? So I'd like to see a little bit more of that. All of your roles, where you studied, perfect. Licenses, nice to see Tableau. So Tableau is something that a lot of recruiters will look for. So nice to see you've got certification there. You've got your projects, volunteers, and skills. and a few more recommendations would really help. So yeah, generally this is probably the best profile that I have seen, but two major things: recommendations, and you need to post more, and the third is to grow your number of connections. Yeah. Good. Sure, I think we're out of time. Yuri, what do you think?
I feel like we still have a little bit of 10, 15 minutes, so we definitely can go up to them. And I also want to add some question. You
Yes.
emphasized very much about being active and making some posts, but I know that it's a pain for some people to do posts on LinkedIn. It's a pain to share your thoughts. It's sometimes it's hard to understand. Like it's a huge this imposter syndrome. Like nobody will care. Why should I do that? So, what is the best strategy of being active on LinkedIn from your perspective?
So absolutely, it is a pain, but you can think about it. You know, if you're looking for your next contract or your next gig or something like that, would you rather get on a phone and cold call, or would you rather just be, attracting work to you on LinkedIn? So that's how I kind of weigh it up. Yes, it's a pain. Yes, it's a pain to go and comment on other people's comments, but I haven't had to cold call for business for 5 years. And for me, that's like, okay, that is my marketing. So instead of phoning people and saying, this is what I do, can I train your teams? Yeah, it's a lot easier. It's you've got to do it. I mean, we all probably solopreneurs, we freelancers. It kind of has to be done. I mean, when was the last time that you purchased anything and you didn't go and Google the product, or you looked at where you were going on holiday? And that's what recruiters and companies do with individuals. They're going to go and do their research around you and try and figure out as much as possible about you. So Mark's got a question and he said, is connections the same as following? So connections are the people that you actually connected with. Following are people who follow you. So you only allowed 30,000 connections on LinkedIn. I don't want to max those out with people who work in the oil and gas industry in the Middle East, because I'm never going to recruit in that space. My posts are not going to appeal to them. So they're not going to interact with my posts. They're not going to comment. They're not going to like them. I would rather have them follow me. So I have a lot of followers who I'm not actually connected with, because also the LinkedIn algorithm works on your posting is that when you post, it measures how many of your connections interact with the post, as opposed to, so if I've got 30,000, I'm at my limit, but every time I post, I get 3 reactions and 1 comment. It's not good. Okay, then the thinking would be, okay, this network is not been grown and developed in line with what I'm looking for. So you've got to really think about who are you connected with. Okay, pleasure, Stuart. How long or short should a post be? Vary it, Patrick. That's why I say always go back to your last 90 days of posts. Which posts perform better? How long were they? Maybe you should do some more longer ones. Maybe you should do medium size. I try and keep it below 1,000 if possible. Some of mine are very short. Some of mine are 200 words. Depends on what is the point I'm trying to get across. So I emphasize that too. Okay, cool. What else have we got? Okay, we're going to share the recording of this. I also heard that when contacts don't engage, it hurts you. Oh, Van, just hello, Irene, how are you doing? What about emojis? I like emojis and often use them as bullet points, Patrick. So I think that also is good to just add a bit of color, add a little bit of life to your posts. Okay, perfect. All good. I think I've answered all of the questions. I'm up to date.
Yay,
Sure.
we are here. And
Yeah,
I feel
yes. But
like
if you do have more questions, then definitely connect with me and I can help you with those.
yeah, I'll just repeat your LinkedIn in the comments so folks can
Perfect.
connect with you. And I feel like some people think of LinkedIn that is just a place to kind of hold their resume. But I would say that currently LinkedIn is a very active platform. There are a lot of people and it's growing. And I feel like they're doing, like they are paying a lot of attention to people. And if you are still not there, I feel like it's better to go because
Exactly, because a poorly worked profile with not enough activity and those kind of things can actually be more damaging, and you're right, be a human being. I'm sure we all want to know why Stuart went swimming with a crocodile. It's be a human being, be interesting, stand out, you know.
Yes. So here we are, Vanessa. As always, you share a great experience. I love to learn from you, and I hope folks that you learned also. If you still have questions, I shared Vanessa's LinkedIn. Please connect with her, ask any questions, or go to 9am community, ask questions there. We'll be happy to help you. And yeah, first of all, Vanessa, thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for your time and for
Absolute
being so
pleasure.
open.
Thank you. Thank you
And
for attending.
thank you, folks, for joining us today. And if you have any questions, you know what to do. And by now, have an amazing evening, have an amazing day whenever you are, and talk to you. See you on LinkedIn. See you in the freelancing world. Have a great day.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks a
See you.
lot. Cheers,
Bye.
hey. Bye, Yuri. Bye bye. Thank you.